Participatory behavior in the context of multiplayer video games can be crudely broken down into three subcategories that represent distinct layers of virtual engagement: the explicit, the implicit, and the tacit. These categories may make sense when placed into a hypothetical template. Explicit: move from point A to point B. Implicit: collect items C, D, and E to build structure F to move from point A to point B. Tacit: interact with other players according to G while you collect, build, and move from point A to point B. Although not every game's primary directive is to move from point A to point B, the basic concept remains and is even further reduced to the following: win, do this to win, behave like this. We can take, for example, the behavioral patterns exhibited in participation in one of the most popular first-person shooter games at the moment, Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is heavily reliant on balance and communication within the unit of the team, and is generally played by gamers without the use of a microphone. A crude survey of 10 matches in each game yielded an average of 2 microphone users per match, equating to a 90% mic-less gaming population. As a result, communication between players is almost entirely reliant on predetermined command options and a team that is silently well attuned to the nuances of successful cooperative gameplay. Battlefield 1 offers a host of game types that inevitably dictate the participatory behavior of the users. Dependent on the overall objective of the game type, patterns shift to coincide with what is necessary and appropriate to complete the goal. In Conquest, opposing teams vie for control of predetermined points on the map. Control is dictated by the capture and holding of a point. The team that amasses the highest score correlating to capture points held wins the game. The explicit participation in this particular game type would be the capturing of a point. A user bent on strictly explicit participation will ill-advisedly run in to capture a point whether or not it is safe or appropriate to do so. Explicit participation by definition does not facilitate completion of more complex goals and requires further tangential engagement in order to be fruitful. It would follow that implicit participation would involve the smart and aware capturing of points. This implies coordinating a wave of attack with other users, checking corners on the way in, clearing out the area of enemy presence, and staying and defending the point once it is taken. This is often called playing objectively, and it is most desirable to possess a team that functions in this fashion over one that opts to top the leaderboards with the most number of kills and least number of deaths. Tacit participation in Battlefield 1 involves even more nuanced behavioral patterns of play. These are the ideal patterns that are shaped by the mechanics and culture surrounding the game. They are often minute in the greater scope of victory, but are indicative of a team player. Elements of tacit participation that are generally favorable include the following: habitually spotting enemies. This not only marks them on your map, but also marks them on your entire team's map. Resupplying fellow teammates with ammo when they request it. Placing a medical kit down around injured players. Reviving fallen players in your vicinity. And switching classes if your squad has too many of one type of character. Generally unfavorable tacit participation involves sniping from a distance in pursuit of embellishing your kill count, being remiss in your duties as either a support or medic class,
We have taken objective apples.
declining a revival from a medic that is coming to your aid, ghosting a teammate to scavenge kills, and perhaps worst of all, unsportsmanlike behaviors such as hate mail, snide post-game comments, and teabagging a downed opponent. The trifold categorization of participatory behavior in multiplayer video games points toward an aspect of socialization and human interaction that is developed outside of reality, one that is wholly contingent on the pre-established norms in each game's culture and the level of distance a user grants between his or her behavior of tangible effect and his or her behavior of virtual and digital effect. Some players vehemently deny the need for tacit participation, arguing that it constricts the spirit of freedom and wish fulfillment inherent in the immersion of video games, and therein detracts from their overall enjoyment. It is disingenuous, however, to claim that these behaviors don't exist, and furthermore that they don't reflect the personality of the user hiding behind his or her avatar. Though compelling studies have yet to be pursued, it would be very interesting to see the differences in real-life behavior between those that play cognizant of tacit participation and those that disregard this level of participation as frivolous and unnecessary. Such studies would undoubtedly yield a connection between virtual and real behavior, and further our understanding of participatory culture as it relates to multiplayer video games.